between Tanner Williams and that's Tanner Williams and Snow Road. So we're going to be watching that as it marches its way eastward, and it's moving east in a hurry. So this is going to be taking it over into the far reaches of West Mobile. This is west of Airport Boulevard, west of Schillinger Road. This is going to be near Baker High School is where this is located, because here's Snow Road. You know, that runs over toward Johnson, runs up towards Sims, and that's going to be marching its way eastward near the regional airport. Here's Schillinger Road. Here's Tanner Williams, and we're just getting a new sweep scan. And you can see right there around Rigby Road, that would be the possible tornado. So this is for far west Mobile. This is located near Snow Road, west of Schillinger, from a possible tornado that's going to be marching its way to the east. And we've been following this line of storms as we are continuing to follow this in real time. So if you're just joining us, I'm meteorologist Michael White alongside meteorologist Nicholas Herboso. And we are on the air to follow these storms as they continue to work their way through the region. Now, the good news is later this morning, it's all going to be over with. We're going to see the storms fade away, and we're not going to have this danger anymore, which is going to be excellent news. So that's what we're going to continue to follow in real time. And Nicholas, you were on our digital channel, FOX10 News Gulfstream, when this warning went off.
Yes, I was, and we saw it pop off. It was funny. We were watching very, very closely these little spin-ups in the line, and now it looks like we've had one of those spin-ups. I want to point out that this is, right now, this possible tornado is very, very close to the intersection of Snow Road and Tanner Williams Road. That is just northwest of the airport. If you're near the airport, Snow Road, Tanner Williams Road, that's the possible area that we could be dealing with a tornado. Outside of the tornado, winds are possibly very, very gusty right now, apart from the tornado, and we have a severe thunderstorm warning that continues for Mobile County. But right now, our main concern is a small spin-up tornado that we have seen that is likely located in West Mobile, just to the east of Big Creek Lake, just to the southeast of Big Creek Lake. That's going to be moving to the east at 45 miles per hour.
So it's still moving pretty fast. You know, the last time we had to come on the air for a tornado warning, it was at about 2:30 in the morning. It was for Okaloosa County. That one was moving at 65 miles an hour. So if we follow this thing out, this does include Saraland, by the way. This red box is a polygon. You know, this doesn't include the entire county. So it does not include Satsuma, Chinchula, Georgetown, but it does include these areas. Magnolia Grove, it would be to you at 3:58. So that's in the next 5 minutes. Saraland, if it holds together, it would clip to you at 4:12, and then Stapleton 4:33, Bay Minette 4:38, and on and on and on. Hopefully we will see that signature weaken, so that way locations that are over in Baldwin County won't have the same threat. But we were wondering if we were going to see any tornado warnings inside this line of storms. We have. It has gone off. Again, the couplet is not something that we would normally look for when trying to track a tornado. The signature is very broad in nature, so I think this is still going to be more of a significant straight line wind threat. I think you're going to be looking at wind speeds sustained at possibly 58 to 65 miles an hour. This is a very large line of heavy rain and lightning and very high wind that's going to be marching its way eastward through West Mobile, through downtown Mobile, through Saraland, and eventually working its way over across the bay and onto the eastern shore. So Nicholas is extending out the speed, and you can see Bay Minette, it would be to you at 4:34 in the morning. It would be to Pineville just before 4:50 in the morning. Now, let's say you live in George County, you live in Lucedale, you live in Leakesville, up in Greene County, you live in Hurley, in Jackson County. Your severe threat's done. It is over for you. Your temperatures are falling, humidity's dropping, and that's going to be great news. Pascagoula, you're still dealing with the wrath of the storms, but Biloxi is not, and temperatures have already fallen over in Biloxi. The air is getting less humid, so once this line of storms passes over you, once it moves east and you're on the backside of it, your severe weather threat is done. And that is what is most important. So that means those of you in Baldwin County, the Florida Panhandle, you'll be the last ones to see the severe weather potential end, and that will occur later this morning while we're on the air tracking it during Good Day Gulf Coast. But the reason why we have bumped onto the air ahead of schedule is because of this tornado warning that is set to expire at 4:15 this morning, and that's your possible couplet. So what Nicholas has pulled up is known as the velocity display. This is where you look at inbound and outbound wind flow. Green green represents wind that blows toward the radar. Red is wind that blows away from the radar. So right around Howells Ferry and Tanner Williams, that is where you would have a possible rotating signature. This is the Mobile Regional Airport. There's Baker High School. That's Airport Boulevard. That's Airport in Schillinger. We know how busy and congested that intersection is. There's Providence Hospital. So just to the north of the airport. So, you know, if you take Schillinger Road from West Mobile, you take it northward up toward Saraland and toward University of Mobile. As you're taking that route, which gets you near the fairground location, that is where the possible tornado is. And it's going to be marching its way to the north and toward the east. Nicholas has just drawn that for you right here on the radar imagery. So now that does not necessarily mean one is on the ground, but one could possibly on the ground. Could be on the ground. Everyone's dealing with a high wind threat right now, but that possible signature is right over Howells Ferry Road in West Mobile. It's going to keep marching its way northeast at 45 miles an hour. It's going to dodge Providence Hospital. I think it's going to dodge the Airport Boulevard corridor in general. So everyone along Airport Boulevard, you should be good to go. Anyone south of Airport Boulevard, you should be fine. But Magnolia Grove is going to be an 8-mile. Those of you that are near Tolmanville, Pritchard, you need to be paying very close attention, because as we get new sweep scans, this thing's going to be moving through in a hurry as it crosses over Highway 217. This puts it over right now. Nicholas has pulled up some of the mapping data. This is going to put it up toward Walgreens Pharmacy, Wendy's over by Howells Ferry Road. That's the current location of the possible tornado. So Moffett Road Baptist Church is in that general region. We've also got Forest Hill Apartments. That's in this general area. Shelton Beach Road Extension is in that area as well. And we're going to continue to follow that as it moves north and east toward 8 Mile. So that would put it over near Cozy Brown's Kitchen. It's a very popular spot in the 8 Mile and Pritchard area. So here's I-65, here's Tolmanville, here's Pritchard, here's where I-65 and 165 intersect. Chickasaw would be right about here, and then right around 8 Mile near Cozy Brown's Kitchen is where the current path of that possible tornado would be coming. So we're just going to have to follow that very closely as it works its way through. So you have a very small, it's not large, a very small inflow notch, which would put the rotation right there around Magnolia Grove. What Nicholas has pulled up is what's known as the reflectivity. That's where you see the generic rain, the actual shape of the storm in rain form. And we still see torrential downpours of rain, tons of lightning, gusty straight line winds. We do have the possible debris. That was the Nicholas Earlier, that was at 3:50, so that was 8 minutes ago. When we first came on the air, we have a debris signature on radar. Nicholas is pulling it up right now.
Yes, I'm going to pull this back. It might be hard to see for us. So what you're going to look for is a little blue dot, and I'm going to have to kind of hunt for this. So
it should be at 3:50. It should be at 3:50 on that clock.
Let's see
here.
here.
Let's go to right about, they should be right about there, and it would be here. That's it.
That is it.
That's it right there. Tanner
So it
Williams.
looks like briefly we did have, this is our debris tracker, and this is a very, very, very useful tool that we have because it very clearly shows us where we had debris, because it can essentially look at what is rain and what is not. And whenever we see this kind of bullseye signature, I'm going to zoom in really closely to this. This is where it was at 3:51 near Scott Drive, Tanner Williams Road, and getting close to Snow Road. That was possibly a tornado that we had on the ground. But now we're going to zoom out and get to the current picture.
And it was on the ground so fast.
Briefly.
And that's the problem with some of these. They move through so quickly that you only have possibly a matter of seconds by the time the warning goes off to get into your safe place. So what we're tracking now is that, now we have a second tornado warning. We now have 2 tornado warnings that have just gone off. One that is continued and one that is that is all of our cell phones all going off. Thank you, Verizon. I'm making sure. Well, come on, Nick. There we go. He can't turn his off. So we've got 2 tornado warnings that are going on right now. One that we've been following in real time in Magnolia Grove. And let's take a peek at this new one here. This is a new one that's for locations that are now south of the Mobile Regional Airport. And they're the Dawes community. And that one's going to possibly put it through downtown Mobile. And that also includes Spanish Fort. That includes Cloverleaf Landing. That's going to put it right through Midtown. That's going to put it near where the FOX10 studios are, where we are, McGowan Park at I-65 and Government Boulevard. So this is something we'll just have to watch very closely. Again, this is all part of one line of storms marching its way through. Nick is going to zoom in toward this right now. So it's a very weak inflow. It would be right here around Leroy Stevens. So Leroy Stevens, Solly Road, it might be this right here. So here's Solly Road, and this is Cottage Hill and Solly, and that's right near Cottage Hill Christian. Nick's pulling that up on the other map, so this way we can get you more locations that are in this general region. But there's a lot going on. So we've got. We're still getting ready to pull that up. Malabar Heights there, Medal of Honor Park. It's right near Medal of Honor Park. It's right near Cottage Hill Christian. So this is there's Cody Road and Cottage Hill. So you'd be near the Walmart. You'd be near Medal of Honor Park, Knollwood Apartments. Bay Area oral surgery, dental implants, TC's hand car washing. These are just locations that are in this general vicinity of where we're seeing some of these problems. That would be your possible tornado. So that's this is Grelot. This is Hillcrest. I know there's a Starbucks there. Here, and then there's a Rich's Car Wash here, and it looks like this possible tornado is going to miss that Starbucks, and it's going to cross Hillcrest, and it's going to keep marching its way to the north and to the east, possibly bringing it over University Boulevard. So that could put it over near the near possibly the Big Time Diner, which is over on Cottage Hill. Here's Cottage Hill right here. So Cottage Hill Road, and that would put it near Cottage Hill Baptist too, I believe. So these are all locations that are going to have to be watching very, very carefully. Davidson High School is going to have to be on standby for this. Now, obviously, this danger is going to be well over with before school starts. It's 4:02 in the morning. This will be a distant memory by the time school starts. So we are tracking not one, but two tornado warnings that are both impacting Mobile County and parts of Baldwin County. The Mobile Metro is included in this. Pritchard included in this, Saraland included in this, in Baldwin County, Spanish Fort, Malbus, Gravine Island, but the storms aren't over you yet. If they hold together, you'll be impacted, but you are in what's known as the polygon, which means you need to take shelter immediately. So this storm, the entire line is marching its way through. Now, even if a tornado does not pass over your area, you're going to get heavy rain, lightning, gusty straight line winds. Those can still knock down trees and power lines. And Nick, from what we're seeing embedded in this line, it looks like if there is a tornado, it would not be a large one. It would be a small spin up, but even those can cause problems. Yes, it looks like we do have this. This is kind of what happens when we have a squall line, where we have very quick, short-lived tornadoes. And I want to push this real quick because this is multiple circulations that are forming really quite quickly in Mobile County. So the best thing that you can do is go ahead and seek shelter in a small room, interior room, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. You're in even downtown Mobile, midtown Mobile, near Medal of Honor Park, near Knollwood, University. Go ahead, University of South Alabama. Just make sure you're in a safe place. If you are near Airport Boulevard, McGowan Park, if you're anywhere in West Mobile, because we have these storms moving through so quickly and they're spinning up so fast, you're just going to need to go ahead and take the precaution. Make sure you're getting in a small interior room near the center, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. No windows around you. Also, you can, if you have a couple seconds, grab a helmet to protect your head. Use pillows, blankets, a mattress. Also, if you are in Mobile, especially closer to downtown Mobile, and you're in a mobile home, please seek sturdy shelter immediately, as we have multiple spin-up tornadoes, very, very possible here. Now moving into a well-populated area in Mobile County. Thanks, Nicholas. Yeah, absolutely right. If you're just joining us, meteorologist Michael White along with meteorologist Nicholas Serboso. We've been tracking storms all night, and now we're in the final line of storms. We were hoping, fingers crossed, we would get through this last line without a problem, but this thing's not going to go quietly. So we have not one but two tornado warnings within the same line of storms. Now, let's say you live in Wilmer right now, okay? If you live in Wilmer, your severe weather threat is over. It's done because you're on the back edge of the line. Your temperature and humidity values are falling. Once once you're on the back edge of this line of storms, your severe weather danger is done for the morning. But this line of storms is what we're following. It's producing very massive straight line winds, heavy rain, lightning, and now a few possible spin-up tornadoes that are not large in stature, but enough to cause problems. And we're seeing one around Magnolia Grove. We saw one around Snow Road earlier, and we're following one in West Mobile that's getting ready to pass over near where we are, Nicholas, at McGowan Park. Our station's located right there at I-65 and Government Boulevard near Hank Aaron Stadium. And now you've got the line right over Medal of Honor Park about to pass Davidson High School. The Weather Service office in Mobile has said the potential tornado about to approach Highway 45 and I-65, the other one near McGregor Avenue south of Airport. Don't see a tornado debris signature, but hard to tell because it's close to the radar beam at the regional airport. And they're reporting that even if a tornado is not on the ground, the severe wind gusts are likely across the entire Mobile metro. That's the thing, because what we're seeing here is what's known as a bowing segment. The radar line looks like it's bowing out. So that means that if there's no tornado, you're getting straight line winds that are getting more and more intense. They could intensify to 50, 60, maybe even 70 miles an hour. And that would impact anyone along that line. It would knock down trees and power lines with ease, especially with all the rain that we've seen. Soil moisture would be damp. It would knock the trees down very easily. And right now, we got a possible couplet right over Saraland right now. This is from the first tornado warning. And right now where you got the red and the green, the inbound and outbound wind flow, there's a connection right over Saraland. This is Highway 43. This is I-65. So that would be exit 13. And up here would be exit 15. This is Celeste Road. So that's exit 15 off I-65. To the east of that, over by that gas station near the Dairy Queen, is where a possible tornado might have just hit Saraland.
Yeah, Saraland, Satsuma High School. If you're near 43, near Satsuma High School, that you're going to need to go pretty quickly. Small interior room, lowest floor. Put as many wall between you outside as possible. I'm going to go ahead and say this. I think Michael, will agree with me that this is warranted. If you are anywhere in Satsuma, Saraland, Pritchard, 8 Mile, Tolmanville, Midtown, downtown Mobile, Dauphin Island Parkway near McGowan Park, all the way down to Range Line, I would go ahead and say just prepare yourself or go ahead and head into an interior room. Here's why I'm saying this. Because these tornadoes, if they do form, will spin up rapidly, very, very quickly. It'll be almost too hard for us to keep up with how many little circulations there are. We're going to keep watching it, but the best thing that you can do, go grab your phone, make sure you're streaming on your phone. We're streaming on Facebook. I'm watching the comments right here. And then you take that phone with you, you go ahead and get into an interior room and follow these precautions. Let me pull this up for you.
That's right. So Nicholas is showing what you need to do in the event of a tornado warning. You go to the lowest level of your home, away from doors and windows. First floor bathroom is the best place. If you live in an apartment complex, you need to already be friends with the first floor neighbor. You need to go down there. Worst place you can be is a mobile home. Hopefully, when you knew that we were going to have this high wind threat, you made arrangements to be in a foundation-based building through the morning. And you want to protect your head at all costs. A helmet's a great option. Hopefully, you've got some. Use pillows, blankets, and a mattress. We're watching the Weather Service chat on that tornado signature around Saraland. Let's pull that back up. Jason Beeman, who runs the Weather Service office, says this one's been tricky because there's not a lot of reflectivity. And I was noticing that too, that there hasn't been a lot of a rain shaft. Now here in Biola Battery, we have a little bit of an inflow notch, which would mean the winds would be blowing in here in rotation. There is one?
That is a tornado one.
Okay, so we're tracking 3 now. So now 3, 1, 2, 3. We now have 3 active tornado warnings in Mobile County. One for the southern end of the county, Biola Battery. One from the center of the county, which includes Mobile. One for the northern end of the county, which now includes Saraland and Satsuma. So we have 3 active tornado warnings along the same line of storms. As Nick was saying just seconds ago, no matter where you live, even if you live in Baldwin County, these storms aren't to you yet. Go ahead and get in shelter, lowest level of the home, away from doors and windows. It's the safest place to be because these have been showing up so quickly quickly. And they've been moving so fast, as Nick was saying, it's hard to track each one all at once. And by the time one pops up, it may have already caused damage somewhere. So anyone that's ahead of this line of storms needs to already be going ahead and planning for being in the safe place and being away from doors and windows. So that is the new one that we're watching. And this one, Nicholas, looks like it's got a little more inflow than the one we were tracking earlier in Saraland, but no debris signature yet. But a very tight couplet, very high wind. I think if there's no tornado, you certainly have a massive straight line wind threat right here.
Yes. I'm going to go ahead and say this once again. I think this is the best call. If you are in Alabama Port, Bayou La Battery, Irvington, Theodore, Hollinger's Island, Range Line, McGowan Park, South DIP, Midtown Mobile, Downtown Mobile, Tolmanville, Pritchard, Midtown Mobile, Saraland, Satsuma, near Saraland High School, Satsuma High School, Axis, up 43 to Salco, Chastang, 43 to Mount Vernon, Stockton, Latham, Tensas. I want you to go ahead and get into an interior room on the lowest floor of your home, because these storms are spinning up really rather quickly, and it's just hard to tell. Either way, there's a severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued for the potential of strong winds. So with this being in mind, it's just best that you are in a safe spot, because these storms will spin up so fast, and you will notice it really quickly. The conditions will deteriorate outside very quickly.
I think one thing we can probably say at this point, Nicholas, is if we show the size of this gold polygon, this is the severe thunderstorm warning. I would say anyone that's inside the severe thunderstorm warning polygon needs to go ahead and start thinking get in shelter, because you don't want to wait until the line's over you and then we get these spin up tornadoes that happen so fast and you end up drawing the short straw, and then that possible tornado is over your area, because in the blink of an eye, we have seen 3 tornado warnings issued from the same line of storms. So we have got to be very cautious on what's going to be happening for Baldwin County. The storms aren't in Baldwin yet, but they're coming. They're heading east. They're moving fast. And then they're going to move into the Florida Panhandle. They'll move into Escambia County, Alabama. So where you see this gold box, this gold polygon, that is the severe thunderstorm warning. Anyone that lives inside there needs to go ahead and get in shelter until these storms move east over you. Once you're on the back edge of it, your severe threat's done. So if you live in Pascagoula, Hurley, Loosedale, Leakesville, Chatham, Millry, you're done. Your severe threat's over for the day. Citronelle, you're done. Chanchula, you're done. Georgetown, Wilmer, you're all done. Sims, you're about to be done. Once that line again is passed over your area, your danger is finished. So the good news is, West Mobile, you're about to see better weather sooner rather than later. You just still got to wait a few more minutes to get the worst of this heavy rain and lightning through. But where we're seeing the tornadic signatures is showing up a little ahead of the main line, where we have been seeing a little bit of inflow inside the storm because of that harsh east wind. Now, are any of these couplets that we're tracking classic? No, they're not the kind we would see in the springtime that you can definitely tell a tornado's on the ground. There might be, but they would be very small. They would be very short-lived. They would be likely EF0s or EF1s. But anyone in those regions could end up getting damage to their homes, damage to their businesses. And even if it's a straight line wind, because we've seen so much rain, it could knock down the trees and power lines with ease. It can knock a tree over onto a home. We've seen that happen. So what Nicholas is pulling up now is the debris tracker.
That might be wind debris.
You know
I
what?
don't know why. Actually,
it might be.
That's very interesting. You see that little lowering in the correlation coefficient, those green colors there. That might, let me back that up a little bit. Either way, once again, I have to repeat it. These storms mean business, so they're all producing very strong winds. So you might be getting wind damage apart from a tornado. So that's why we want you to seek shelter. And as long as you're seeking shelter, you're putting walls between you and outside, staying away from windows. Don't go outside and look at this. As long as you're doing that, you're going to be just fine. Just make sure that you're getting yourself into a safe spot. Interior room, put yourself away from windows. We have a very powerful line moving through.
And for anyone that does have to go to work today, for anyone that does have to go to school today, this is going to be well over with before that happens, especially for Mobile County, because it's only 4:14 in the morning. So by the time school gets ready to start, all this is going to be over with. It's all moving east in a hurry. Now, what we look for, what Nicholas is showing you, is the velocity, where you have the green and the red, and you like to see those interconnected. You like to see them hugging each other. That's a sign of rotation. That's a very small sign of rotation, which means if there is a tornado, it'd be very small, but it can still create damage. That would be over Delchamps. Here's Bellingrath Road. There's Coden. There's Biola Battery. There's the Alabama Port. So if there's a tornado in this area, it would be located right here, south of Fowl River, down in Delchamps, down in the Delchamps area, and it would be right near Bayou Shores Drive. It would also be impacting places like the Stop and Rest RV Park. Nicholas has pulled up some of the locations that are in this region. It would impact Homestead RV Community, Southern Tactical Airsoft Games. Bellingrath Gardens is in that region. Also, Bellefontaine is in that region as well. So this is all south of Irvington. Your possible tornado is right there. And now it's here. That's how fast, when we get these sweep scans, that's how fast these things move, because these storm cells are moving at about 45 miles an hour. Now it's right over Delchamps, which puts it very close. This puts it very close to Bellingrath Gardens, which would be, I believe, right here where my hand's at. This would be where Bellingrath is, and it's moving northeast into that region. So Bellingrath Gardens, where everyone goes at Christmas time to watch the lights, that is where that possible tornado could be moving to. So this is a situation where you have to be serious. Thankfully, you're not going to have to stay weather aware the entire day, only for the next couple of hours. For some of you, only for the next few minutes, because once the line of storms passes, your day is done. So we are going to continue to follow these tornado warnings. Again, there are 3 of them happening right now in Mobile County. What's happening down near Bellingrath is just one of 3. We've seen wind damage around Saraland. I believe has one been dropped, Nick?
Yes, one has been dropped.
Okay.
That was a very quick spin up, and once again, we're dealing with multiple spin-ups happening kind of rather quickly. I do want to mention, though, now we have the big peak of the rain and heaviest rain now moving through downtown Mobile.
That's right. So downtown Mobile is now getting an aggressive band of rain, also getting extremely gusty winds. So you're seeing wind speeds of about likely 55, 60 miles an hour in downtown Mobile. Thankfully, this is a time of morning when there's not a lot of commuters on the road. Nicholas is pulling up just the raw velocity numbers. This gives you an indication, just an estimate on what those sustained winds are looking to be. And they are incredible. They're already at mid-grade tropical storm strength. Thankfully, we're going to see that all changing because, as you know, overnight last night, we saw a warm front move in. Muggy, humid air took over. Now, colder air is pushing its way in. And once this line of rain is over your area, you're going to notice your temperatures and humidity values falling rapidly. That's going to happen very soon for the Mobile Metro. Those of you on the eastern shore, Spanish Fort, Daphne, Bayfront Park, Malbus, you're going to have to be on standby because it's coming to you next. But if you're just joining us, meteorologist Michael White along with meteorologist Nicholas Urboso. We've been tracking storms all night, and we're tracking them this morning. We had 3 tornado warnings. We now have 2 active tornado warnings. And what you're seeing in this side box now is a live look from the roof of the Admiral Hotel, where you can see the rain rates are significant because the core of that line is right over downtown Mobile. It's continuing to work its way eastward at about 50 to 60 miles an hour. We've got one tornado cell possibly near Bellingrath Gardens, and then another one that is maneuvering through downtown Mobile. Now, the tornadic signature is not well defined, but the winds are still massive with this storm. So you can see this red box is the potential polygon, and I'm having a little trouble, Nick, actually finding the couplet. I'm guessing it would be this right here in downtown Mobile.
Yeah, it's really tough to tell. Once again, these storms are very quick spin-up tornadoes, and it looks like we have had a couple tornadoes that maybe have briefly touched the ground. And that's why we're a little bit more serious, because we have seen tornadoes that very much look like they have touched the ground based on our debris tracker. But we want you to understand that as long as you are in a safe spot, as long as you're not outside, not on the roads, if you are staying inside, and if you are currently in Baldwin County and taking those precautions, go ahead and getting yourself into a small interior room, preparing yourself for some gusty winds to happen outside. you are going to be just fine. This is nothing really to freak out about, but there is just serious weather that means serious business that's now moving through. This line of storms is now moving through eastern Mobile County, places along Bellingrath Road all the way up to DIP. Let's think I-10, I-65, points east, downtown Mobile, all the way up the Delta, now getting into places in northern Baldwin County as well. Baldwin County, this main line is now pushing through, and this is the area, Baldwin County, that is now under the gun for our next round of wind, and that's what's going to be coming our way. So just make sure that you're taking your precautions getting into an interior room. Just don't want to be outside. You don't want to be in this as all, because we have spin up tornadoes and we have damaging wind ongoing.
Exactly. And the other thing you're going to notice is we are going to get a wind shift. Everyone ahead of this line of storms has been dealing with and the tornado warning in Mobile just dropped, Nick. Yep. It's gone. So you have a south wind ahead of this line of storms. On the back edge, you're going to notice a north wind. So, for example, overnight, we've had the causeway flood, right? We see that a lot whenever we get an aggressive south wind ahead of a front. But we're approaching low tide. North winds are about to take over across the Mobile Bay in a matter of minutes. You will notice, likely when that wind shift happens within an hour, that rain, that water on the causeway is going to work itself out, and you'll likely have the causeway reopen later this morning. And that's all because of a massive wind shift. So we came on the air because of 3 tornado warnings. We've only got one that's still in play. And when it wraps up, we'll go pretty much right into Good Day Gulf Coast, which is scheduled to begin in 9 minutes. So this tornado warning, how long does it last, Nicholas? It's in play till when?
We're going to get that real quick. That is going until 4:45. Now, it is something to note that it looks like a lot of the little inflection points, if you will, these little rotation points are now beginning to kind of get offshore and into Mobile Bay.
Right. And that's also a good point. Yeah, because now it's maneuvering over water, so the signatures are not going to be quite as accurate in that regard. But if we see them hold steady, you would have a tornado warning extend over into parts of Baldwin County. So for now, this is shifting more into a straight line wind threat. Does that mean you have to let your guard down? No, you can't let your guard down until the main line of storms is already past you. If you're in Wilmer, if you're in Hurley, Pascagoula, anyone west of the line, your severe threat is done for the morning. You can go back and get some extra sleep. You do not have to worry about a tornado threat anymore. But those of you in Baldwin County, those of you on the Florida Panhandle, those of you across the southern portion of Mobile County from Saraland down to Dauphin Island, you still got to keep your guard up a little while longer. So when Nicholas is pulled up is the main line of storms, what's known as a squall line. Once you're behind that, your severe threat is done. Ahead of it, you've still got an aggressive south wind. You've still got the potential for tornadoes. Tornado watch boxes will drop off once you're on the back edge of this line, and things will calm down. So as we're tracking these during Good Day Gulf Coast, you'll notice the weather improving. In fact, by this afternoon, we're actually expecting sunshine to return on the Gulf Coast and temperatures to consistently stay generally in the 50s. So better weather is coming. But for now, we're just going to continue follow this line and follow that storm as it works its way over into the Mobile Bay.
So I'm kind of monitoring some. We are also live streaming here on Facebook, and I am monitoring those comments, and I'm getting a lot of the what about questions. And I do kind of want to address that real quick. So I kind of want to go walk down the line here, talk about who's in, who's out. Understand that we have one tornado warning, but it looks like the rotation has now moved over Mobile Bay. So there's not this immediate concern at this very second for an immediate spin-up tornado. However, we do still maintain that concern with this severe thunderstorm warning that continues, and we still have a circulation that's now moving over the bay. So now let's break down where things are, and can we take max 1 there? There we go. So let's start in Washington County. Washington County, I can pretty much give an all clear. No issues there. Our Mississippi counties, I can go ahead and give an all clear there. Let's talk Mobile County. Citronelle, Chunchula, Gulf Crest, Georgetown, all clear. Wilmer, Big Creek Lake, all clear. Sims, it's getting close to an all clear. Mobile Airport, if you're right immediately near the airport and your rain is dying down, I'll go ahead and prepare you to get an all clear there. If you're in Jackson County, Mississippi, all clear. Grand Bay, you're getting close. Let's talk about who's under the gun right this second. Bayou Battery, Bellingrath Gardens, heavy rain, wind ongoing right now. And there's the possibility of some very strong wind gusts right now. The tornado threat, assessing that, does not look like an immediate concern, but we're watching that very closely. Downtown Mobile, strong winds ongoing right now. Pritchard, 8 Mile. Midtown Mobile, strong winds, heavy rain ongoing right now. No immediate tornado threat there. There's no tornado warning for downtown Mobile. I'll repeat that. There's no tornado warning for downtown Mobile, but we have strong winds ongoing there. Saraland, Satsuma, strong winds, heavy rain. Now getting along 225 in Baldwin County as well, all the way up to Stockton, I-65 in the Stockton exit, dealing with heavy rain. All the way up to Tensas, Blackshear, all the way up in northern Baldwin County there, and then getting into southern Clark and Monroe counties. That is the strongest part of the line. Let's talk about who's under the gun real quick. We do have one little area of rotation to monitor that is getting very, very close to Mayor Park in Spanish Fort. In fact, our Hampton Inn camera would probably be something to look at. There's probably gusty winds there. I don't know if we'll be able to see anything. But one small little rotation area getting near Spanish Fort. Not an immediate tornado threat, though. There is no tornado warning that has been issued. And in fact, that tornado warning has just been allowed to expire. However, Eastern Shore, Fairhope Point clear. Loxley, all the way up to Robertsdale, Bay Minette, all preparing for the potential of strong
we have a
winds.
new one.
And there's that new tornado warning for that exact little area that I mentioned, that little spin that is very close to the Hampton Inn, the Bass Pro Shops.
And Spanish Fort Metro. So there it is. I would say that might be it, Nicholas, right there at Bayfront Park. So that puts it over by Zaxby's and by Foosackly's off exit 35 on I-10. So if you drive over by the Bayway, you get off at exit 35, Bayfront Park, right by the Hampton Inn. That's a possible tornadic signature right on the Eastern Shore. Here's Spanish Fort. Here's Daphne. That is I-10. That's your possible tornado right there. And that's marching its way to the northeast in a hurry. So this is going to be in play till 5 a.m. But everyone from Spanish Fort High School to Malbus to the Eastern Shore Center, Highway 181, we've got the camera pulled up. This is on the roof of the Hampton Inn. If there's a tornado, it's right near where that camera is located. It would actually be, we've got the camera pointed to the west. It would be to the south, but you can see how vicious the wind is, and this puts it right over that. There's a gas station there, Burger King, Foosackly's. If you've driven this area, you know what I'm talking about. It's right here near Seacliff Drive. Here's Highway 98, and there it would be crossing Highway 98, which is essentially Eastern Shore's Airport Boulevard. We know how crowded Highway 98 at the Bayway is. This puts it over by Lake Forest. That would shift it over toward the AMC movie theater, toward Baumhauer's. This would take it over by the Home Depot in this general region. So the possible tornado is right there south of Spanish Fort. Here's Spanish Fort. Here's Highway 225. This would be Garrison Ridge. This would be Spanish Fort Elementary School, the Rouses, and this is US 31. So the possible tornado would be just south of that. There's Bass Pro, and there's Lake Forest. We're also monitoring the Weather Service chat in this, but this is a serious issue that you have to be ready for. You need to be in the lowest level of your home, away from doors and windows, if you're watching us on the Eastern Shore right now. So this line of storms has been bowing out, producing massive straight line winds. Now, we knew that threat was coming, but this is also ahead of colder air, and we're also seeing enough rotation inside the line that new tornado warnings have been issued. So because of this, we're going to be delaying the start of Good Day Gulf Coast. It would normally begin at 4:30, but we're going to stay in severe weather coverage until we get these warnings out of here. And you can see right now, as we continue to monitor the velocity, the inbound and outbound wind, we've still got a signature right there between Spanish Fort and Daphne, right there around Lake Forest, and that's going to be crossing Highway 98. And if it holds together, Malbus would be under the gun. That's why we were telling you, and Nick was harping on it just mere moments ago, that everyone in Baldwin County, anyone that had a severe thunderstorm warning, needed to be in shelter, because these spin-up tornadoes have been happening so quickly. Sometimes you only have mere seconds to get in your safe place, but if you're already there, you're good to go. And look at that, Nick. In the last scan, it looks like we're starting to get a more aggressive couplet.
Yeah, and we're monitoring, so we're looking at the debris tracker. I'm monitoring different products, and I apologize if the map is moving quickly. I'm having to kind of scan this line rather fast because everything is happening rather quickly. Once again, I want to repeat, if you're on the eastern shore, you need to go ahead and kind of be almost sheltered, or at least inside, because we have this line moving to you. However, if you are near I-10 in Baldwin County, Daphne, Spanish Fort, Malbus, you're talking your Bass Pro Shops, your Jubilee Center, your Eastern Shore Center, 90 in between Eastern Shore Center and Jubilee Center, you're going to be dealing with a potential of a brief spin-up tornado. There's a little bit of extra rotation in that segment of the line. So our advice to you, once again, small room, interior room, lowest floor near the center, away from windows.
Exactly, and Nicholas really couldn't have put that any better. So this is a serious issue because we've got wind speeds that are by themselves at 60, 70 miles an hour straight line winds. But now we've got possible rotating storms creating small tornadoes that could be EF0s or EF1s. That doesn't sound like much, but if it rolls over your home, it can create massive roof damage, tree damage, and these are all things that have to be taken seriously. So we've got aggressive winds in the Mobile Bay. Things are starting to calm down in Mobile County. The worst of the storms are starting to exit Mobile County and shift more into Baldwin County. So the southern end of Mobile County is still active. Biola Battery, Dauphin Island, but look how many spots are now in the all clear. West Mobile, Dawes, you're safe. Grand Bay, you're safe. Anyone near the Mobile Regional Airport, near the fairgrounds is safe. Sims is safe. Saraland and Satsuma, you're almost there. Pritchard, you're almost there. Downtown Mobile, probably in the next few minutes. In fact, we probably already at the Mobile Regional Airport, we might have even seen the temperature drop. It was at 72 degrees at 3:30 this morning, and it might have already fallen down at least to the low 60s now that that band of storms has already moved to the east. Gulf Crest, you're all clear. Citronelle, Mount Vernon, severe threats done. You can go back to bed. You're looking great. Vinegar Bend, now we're up into Washington County. McIntosh, Milry, Chatham. All of you are no longer in any sort of severe weather danger. So we're starting to see more and more counties. Jackson in Clark County is no longer in danger. Neither is Grove Hill. Neither is Thomasville. But those of you in Baldwin County, Florida Panhandle, you're going to be the last ones to see the severe weather threat end, because this whole line is marching its way to the east, and it's producing a lot of lightning, producing a lot of heavy rain and a lot of high wind, and unfortunately the risk of these possible spin-up tornadoes like what we've seen on the eastern shore. Let's go back to that and see if we've got the any new rotation scans showing up. So we've still got heavy rain and lightning over Spanish Fort, Daphne, but the possible couplet, the possible rotation is now over by exit 38. That would be the Malbus exit, Eastern Shore Toyota, Eastern Shore Center. These locations would be where the tornado would be. This is where the most dangerous winds are showing up at the moment. The tornado warning in general doesn't end until 5 a.m. It does include Gateswood. It does not include Loxley. It does not include Stapleton. But the tornado would cross State Highway 59, which is exit 44 off I-10. And what Nick's drawing out is assuming the storm maintains its current speed. These are some of the communities that would end up seeing an impact.
I'm going to have to redraw that one.
Oh, that's fine.
It's a little bit.
Yeah, where the communities and the estimated times of when the tornado would impact those spots. But right now, if there's a tornado on the ground, it's by the Eastern Shore Center. Steelwood, it would be to you at 4:37. That's in 5 minutes. It would be to Bay Springs at 5:03. Century just before 5:30 in the morning. So this thing is moving really quickly. Weather Services just said potential tornado, or at least enhanced area of severe winds, is along I-10 at exit 38. And we just mentioned that, and that appears to be where the possible tornadic signature is located. That means although the rain and wind is still fierce at exit 35, Spanish Fort, Daphne, Bayfront Park, the tornado threat is now past that region, which is good. But we've still got very nasty weather. So this puts it over by the Timber Creek subdivision. That is a very populated subdivision. And that's going to keep marching its way eastward from US 31 to State Highway 59. Weather Service is issuing a severe thunderstorm warning that's going to be continuing with this storm. So not sure if that means they're going to be expiring this one or if they're just going to be expanding the one that's already in play. We'll be following that closely. But if there's a tornado, it would be right there. Now to the east of Malbus. approaching State Highway 59. Here's Loxley. So, of course, if you're driving I-10, you get off at exit 44. Usually people are going south on State Highway 59 toward Gulf Shores. This would be a scenario where you're heading north on 59 up to Stapleton. That would be where the possible tornado is located, and it would have its eyes set on Gateswood along State Highway 112. So locations north of I-10 and Baldwin County. From Loxley to Gateswood, you are now in the spots with the most danger. Those of you on the eastern shore, you saw how quick that happened. That's how quick these tornadoes have formed and exited. Now your tornado threat at least is over. You've still got nasty rain. Nick's just pulled up the actual reflectivity, and you can see it's still pouring on the eastern shore. The weather here is awful, but the tornado threat is now stopped, which is great, and that's the positive. But now Mobile is starting to see the bad weather exit. It's now shifting all into Baldwin County because all of this rain and storm activity is along the colder pockets of air that are starting to push their way in. We had the warm front come in last night. The temperature jumped from about 50 degrees to 72. Now we're going to see it start to slide back into the 50s again. So we're going to start to see the weather changing rapidly as we continue on the air. Again, if you're expecting Good Day Gulf Coast, meteorologist Michael White along with meteorologist Nicholas Urboso, we are on the air to track severe weather as this line of storms moves eastward. We've been following tornado warnings in real time. We do have Eric and Sarah at the desk. We'll be jumping into news headlines once we get the warnings out of here. But for now, we just got to continue to follow these storms as they move east. We were optimistic we would get through this line without problems, but it had with severe weather threats, you always got to expect the unexpected, and we saw tornado warnings start to fire off fast. In fact, at one point we had 3 at one time in Mobile County alone. Now we've only got 1 active tornado warning, and that's for the one in what's now in Loxley. But severe thunderstorm warnings extend as far north as our inland counties. Here's Monroe County, here's Conecuh County, and you see this gold? That is a severe thunderstorm warning polygon. The Weather Service just said the potential tornadoes approaching locations south of Stapleton. So those of you in our inland counties, you have no tornado threat, but you do still have to monitor the line of storms for potential for straight line winds. So it'll probably be a matter of time they'll start to redraw this tornado warning polygon. The Weather Service will, but Stapleton is where the possible tornado is located, and Nicholas is zooming in toward that right now. So here's Stapleton. Here's the inflow. And the possible tornado would be right there. There it is. There's State Highway 59. And that, honestly, Nicholas, that's probably the best couplet we've seen in the last hour.
Yes, it is, definitely. I mean, you can actually see the bright reds there, very close to some bright greens, which is the typical indication that we talk about on this product for a potential tornado. Checking a couple of the other products. Right now we're looking at our wind product. We call it velocity. But if I check the debris tracker, we call it correlation coefficient. I'm seeing no clear signature right there. But once again, very strong winds either way. If you are south of Stapleton on Highway 59, and if you are in the Gateswood community, you need to be sheltered in a small room on the lowest floor of your home. I want you to put as many windows between you and the outside as possible there. This storm is continuing to move off to the east. It is still heavy rain and stuff in Daphne, but the tornado threat just south of Stapleton on 59, Gateswood community, is the next one in line for this storm.
And I just heard from our producer, Aisha, that there is damage reports we can go to.
Yes, please.
Let's go and pull that up and see what we've got. Aisha, let's take a look at some of that. Not sure what that is at the moment. It looks like a tree down. A tree down on Racine Avenue. Okay, tree down on Racine Avenue. And that's where Stephen Moody, our Fox 10 News reporter, Stephen Moody. So that is where he is at, over at a Racine Road that is in.
Tornado warning.
And that is a new tornado warning. The circulation in Stapleton is strengthening. So in Baldwin County, we've got tornado strengthening around Stapleton. That damage report, we're going to go back to that later this morning. And now we have 2 tornado warnings. Unbelievable. So we've got the one we've been following. And now number 2, this impacts Fairhope, Robertsdale. It's continuing to march its way to the east. So we had 3 tornado warnings at one time in Mobile County. Now we've got 2 in Baldwin County.
So yeah, let's start north and go, well actually let's start south and go north. We're going to start with the Fairhope, Robertsdale storm first, rotation there. So
let's go ahead and zoom in tighter toward Fairhope. And this signature is not as defined as what we saw around Stapleton. You do see the inbound and outbound winds sort of connecting around State Highway 181. This puts it right near downtown Fairhope. So that is a very heavily populated area. Downtown Fairhope would be seeing a possible tornado that's going to be lifting to the north and to the east. And that will take it past Silver Hill. I think it's going to miss Silver Hill, and it's going to keep marching its way to the north and east. And I would think that would put it near Robertsdale, if anything, because it's going to be crossing a lot of these county roads. But you can see the bulk of the rain shaft is behind where the possible tornado is located. So the possible tornadoes are on the front end of the line of storms where the most humid air is showing up. And unfortunately, based on that signature that Nicholas just circled, that puts it over downtown Fairhope, and it's going to keep marching its way north and east. And anyone in Robertsdale needs to make sure they're in their safe place, especially the northern end of Robertsdale, because there's a good chance that that signature would impact you. It kind of fell apart a little bit in the latest sweep scan. We'll just have to keep monitoring this. But remember, even if a tornado is not on the ground, you've got a straight line wind threat where these winds could be 60, 70 miles an hour in one direction, knocking down trees, knocking down power lines with ease, causing a lot of headaches for a lot of you early this morning. Now, it'll all be gone before a lot of you have to leave for work and kids go to school, but that's causing a lot of irritation for a lot of you right now. But thankfully, this is a time of morning you don't have to be on the road. But this is a time of morning right now you need to be paying close attention. That is a much larger tornadic signature, the one on this other tornado warning that Nicholas has zoomed into. It's the one we were following a few minutes ago. Here's Stapleton. This is where 59 and 31 come together, that interchange in Baldwin County. To the east of that is where we have probably the most well-defined couplet of the entire morning. And that's going to put it up toward Gateswood. I think it'll be just to the north of Gateswood where that thing is headed, but it's going to be crossing Alabama Highway 112. Nicholas, if we could pull up some of the communities, some of the hot spots, I guess, so to speak, between Stapleton and Gateswood. I'd love to get a little gauge on that. So he's going to zoom. Now, this is a more rural part of Baldwin County, obviously, than the Eastern Shore, but Steelwood Resort, Steelwood Lake Bridge, Stewart Lodges at Steelwood. These are some of the locations that need to make sure they are in shelter. But obviously, this is not as heavily populated as the Eastern Shore.
So what I'm doing is I'm actually removing the radar data. It's very likely that near the Steelwood Resort, we had the tornado, if it were there, move very close. But also, either way, it's likely that we had very strong winds ongoing near the Steelwood Resort there. That's near the Styx River. It's moving into a forested area, though, right now in Baldwin County, which is a good thing. However, north of the Gateswood community, Old Pensacola Road, that is the next area in line. We'll have to watch that very closely. So that is our northern tornado warning at this time. Now, we do have another tornado warning that we're talking about, and that one is involving Fairhope and areas like 104 here.
Right. Have way more population in this area. So where we found the signature when this warning first popped up was in downtown Fairhope. Now, downtown Fairhope, you're good from the tornado threat, but right around Alabama Highway 104 at Bridlewood Lane is where the tornado signature is. And that signature looks better than it did over downtown Fairhope. So if there's a tornado in Baldwin County, it looks like, or at least a second, I should say, one's over Stapleton. If there's a second tornado, it would be right here. And that is right around State Highway 104. Just to the west of Silver Hill. This would put it near Bohemian Park, which is in Fairhope. It would put it near there. It would also put it near Fairhope Falls, which is by Century Complete Cyclops Painting.
Yes, and I will point Fairhope Falls out. This is actually pretty close to my neck of the woods. That's Fairhope Falls right there. This is downtown Silver Hill that you're looking at right there. So this is going pretty much right along 104 there. If you know 104 and 55, that's where we have Silver Hill. This is going to be very close to that community. What do you need to do? Of course, get into a small room, a protected room near the center. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible just to make sure that you're staying safe. Get away from windows because we have the potential for at least strong winds, but also the potential for a tornado there. And this is once again 104, Fairhope Falls, very close to Silver Hill, that kind of area.
And again, if you're joining us late, meteorologist Nicholas Serboso, meteorologist Michael White, we are on the air because of tornado warnings that have taken over with this final line of storms. This is the last one from what we were tracking yesterday evening. Once it moves through, the severe weather threat is over. So we are tracking a tornadic signature that is to the west of Robertsdale, west of Silver Hill, but it's tracking to the north and east at about 40 miles per hour, which would put it near State Highway 59, put it near US 90, much more of a heavier population than what we were tracking over near Gateswood. We want to make sure everybody is in shelter. Everybody, I would say north of Summerdale, needs to be in their safe place, away from doors and away from windows, lowest level of the home. Now we now have a third tornado warning that has just gone off, and this impacts Escambia County, Florida, and the northeastern section of Baldwin County. And that is a pretty good tornadic signature that looks like it's going to be maneuvering up toward Pineville. This black line, this is the state line. That separates Baldwin County from Escambia County, Florida. So this is going to be crossing the state line very quickly, putting it up near Walnut Hill, and put it up near Wiggins Lake Estates. So Escambia County, Florida needs to make sure they're in their safe place. That would put it very close to Bratt, too, and put it up near Northview High School. So that's going to be tracking its way northeast very quickly. So here's Atmore, here's Flomaton, here's Century. Bratt, Florida would be here. That's also about where Northview High School would be. And it's going to cross potentially Florida Highway 97 as it works its way to the northeast. So we're tracking 3 different tornado warnings that's going to be one of which is going to cross Florida Highway 97, and one of which is going to be passing over Nokomis Road. A very populated spot around Nokomis Road, at least to where a lot of traffic goes through between Atmore and Century. So you want to make sure you are paying very close attention to this. And, you know, Nicholas, you mentioned earlier, I would say about 2 hours ago when we were in between severe weather warnings, that the Storm Prediction Center said that we were likely to see the tornado threat accelerate. I was hopeful we would get the storm line out of here before that happened, but it looks like we're starting to see it playing catch up and the warnings going off quicker than expected.
Yeah, that is very true. And actually, Michael, I want to pull us back down to Fairhope. It looks like we've had a brief little spin up here, or at least a strengthening of the rotation. This is 32, where County Road 32 crosses Fish River, just north of County Road 9. There's a Dollar General there, and wow, it's gone. One sweep and it's gone. It looks like we just had a little bit of a brief spin, or intensification in the spin there. If you're in Robertsdale, once again, you need to be sheltered for this area of spinning. I'll highlight it here. It's just to the north of Silver Hill. Remember, I said it was just kind of moving north of 104 there in Baldwin County. So just north of Silver Hill. This circulation doesn't look like there's a tornado on the ground, or no indications, at least confirmation of that. We have broad rotation. This circulation will likely be crossing 59 very, very soon, just south of Loxley, north of the center of Silver Hill. Either way, if you're in that area, central Baldwin County, between 59 and the Baldwin Beach Express, go ahead and be sheltered. That's right, Nicholas. So we're tracking 3 different tornado warnings, and this was the main reason why we said that no matter where you lived in the severe thunderstorm warning polygon, you needed to be in shelter, because these things are forming so quick. And now in the blink of an eye, we're tracking 3. So here's Summerdale. Here's Robertsdale, here's Loxley. This is State Highway 59. The tornadic signature is about to cross between Robertsdale and Loxley. That is a very heavily populated spot. Hopefully this time of the morning, all of you are at home. We are watching the Weather Service and their opinion too. And they're saying that the storm is approaching Highway 59 in Robertsdale. It's been fluctuating, it's been strengthening, and then basically weakening, and it's been going back and forth between the two. So here's some breaking news that we can shed some positive light on. Mobile County, all of Mobile County, including downtown Mobile, is now no longer in any sort of tornado danger. All the rain you're dealing with is just light to moderate rain, no severe weather, no tornado threats. So all of Mobile, for Theodore, Irvington, downtown, Pritchard, Saraland, Satsuma, West Mobile, Sims, Chunchula, Gulf Crest, Mount Vernon, Citronelle, anyone in Mobile County, you're safe. The severe weather threat is over. Washington County, it's over. McIntosh, Choctaw Bluff, Jackson. We're shifting to Clark County. We're seeing that. Jackson, Grove Hill, Thomasville, severe weather threat over. Also our Mississippi counties, it's done for you. Leakesville, Lucedale, Pascagoula. So now we're at a point where anyone west of I-65
is out of danger, and locations east of I-65 are still in danger. So that means Baldwin County, the Florida Panhandle, Escambia County, Alabama, Monroe and Conecuh counties. You will be the last ones to see your severe weather threat end. But everyone to the west of I-65, your severe threat is over. Now, farther inland, we're still tracking the northern end of the squall line. It's still producing heavy rain, lightning, gusty winds, but we have not seen a tornado threat in that part of the area. It's only been in the southern portion where the air has been a bit more humid. You move south of that more, and that's the possible tornado, I think, probably right there near Pineville. Right there, you got a little bit of an inflow, and it's working its way over the state line. So it looks like that tornado is shifting out of Baldwin County into Escambia County, Florida. If it holds together, it would be rolling right over Walnut Hill, possibly into Bratt, Century, or Flomaton. And we'll continue to follow that and the one that's rolling over near parts of Robertsdale. And we're just going to keep following this. And as we get new information, we're going to share it with you because although Nicholas is manning the radar, he's also keeping up to date with all the Weather Service chat information, all of the damage reports that are coming in real time. That way we can get it to you as quickly as possible. So there's a lot going on, especially when we have numerous tornado warnings at the same time. Now, the most lightning is happening in the southern portion of the Mobile Bay. In fact, the Weather Service just said that one of the mesonets in Fairhope gusted to 73 miles an hour. That's 1 mile an hour short of Category 1 hurricane force winds. The circulation moved right over that location a little while ago. That will wake you up more than any alarm clock will. You hear a hurricane force wind right outside your window, and I'm sure that was extremely frightening. Now, you're still left with a lot of lightning and a lot of rain, but the tornado threat has now left that section of Baldwin County from the eastern shore. So that's the good news. But all these storms are continuing to march their way to the east, and they're going to keep doing that over the next several minutes. So we've still got a nasty line of storms that's now impacting the southern end of Baldwin County, Gulf Shores, Bon Secour, Magnolia Springs, Fish River, Foley, Summerdale. But where the tornadic signatures are only in a couple of spots, one of which is near Walnut Hill, Florida. Another one is approaching Robertsdale. The signature is getting weaker, but as the Weather Service pointed out, we've been seeing the signature weaken and then re-strengthen, sort of going back to back. We just found a report from Brent Goodwin over at the Baldwin County EMA that they're on backup power as a result of these storms. So they're running on generator power over there, and that's not surprising. Once these storms are exiting, I know the power crews are going to be extremely busy getting everyone's power back up during the course of the day today, because even if you didn't deal with a tornado, you dealt with tropical storm force winds all night. You dealt with heavy rain. You dealt with extreme wind gusts that were almost up to hurricane force strength, and it's been a very lengthy night. It's been a very long morning, and we're continuing to watch these storms in real time. So we've got 2 active tornado warnings, one near Robertsdale, another one up near Walnut Hill, Florida. Let's zoom in a little closer toward that one, Nicholas, and see if we how the signature is looking on that particular storm. And it looks like it is weakening just based on the velocity imagery that we're dealing with, and that's good. That means the odds of a rotating storm is decreasing, but nevertheless, it's still a dangerous storm. And this one, in Robertsdale, this one had that big signature over downtown Fairhope earlier. It's starting to show signs of rotation, signs of weakening rotation, which is good. That means the storm is less dangerous than it was 20, 30 minutes ago. But where we're getting the most lightning is now located in the southern end of Baldwin County, outside of the possible tornado threat. The tornado threat is now shifting for anyone that is east of State Highway 59. So it's now moving farther and farther eastward, and it's going to keep doing that all morning long. We're going to keep seeing the threat move farther and farther east.
Yeah, and actually, Michael, what I ended up showing there, I actually highlighted a few different areas. Those are other areas there that actually have little small rotation. But the one that is warned right now is north of Robertsdale, north of 90 in Robertsdale, and continuing to move off to the east right now at a decent clip at around 35 to 40 miles per hour. So let's go ahead and reset real quick. I think we need to we've had a lot of warnings going on real quick, so let's kind of reset and see what's going on. We have the big picture pulled up on Max 1. You have the warnings behind me. So there it is. We have an all clear for Mobile County, Baldwin County, Clark County, Jackson, George, and Greene counties in Mississippi. All clear. We're done. Baldwin County, we have storms ongoing right this moment here with 2 active tornado warnings. We're watching multiple areas along the line that might spin up. That's something we're watching very closely. If you're in Monroe County, you have a severe thunderstorm warning that's ongoing. Very loud and noisy thunderstorms capable of producing strong winds. If you are in our Florida Panhandle counties, we're talking Escambia, Santa Rosa, Okaloosa. If you are in Escambia County, Alabama. If you are in Conecuh County, Alabama. This line is still approaching you, so you have still a severe weather threat ongoing. We're going to start at the bottom and go north here. We're going to start near Gulf Shores, Fort Morgan, where we have a very strong area of heavy rain ongoing. Looking at the velocity to see if there's any spin, it does look like there's some spin south of Fort Morgan, Gulf Shores, but no issues right there. We have heavy rain ongoing right now in Barnwell near Fish River, County Road 9, County Road 32, County Road 98 crossing over Weeks Bay, heavy rain. Fairhope, downtown Fairhope, heavy rain, probably some gusty winds there, possibly even severe winds. And then also Daphne, heavy rain. Now our tornado threat, let's assess that. We have a couple areas of possible rotation along 59, one near Summerdale that's not warned at this moment, but could be some gusty winds there. And then our area that is warm that is practically over Buc-ee's right now, really close to Buc-ee's near 59 and Interstate 10 in Baldwin County. We're continuing to monitor that, and we have a tornado warning that continues for that area. That is near I-10, near 59 in Baldwin County. Make sure you're sheltered there. If you are near the Gateswood community, it looks like right now your threat has gone down. In fact, right now you are just dealing with a heavy rain and likely severe thunderstorm wind threat. It looks like your tornado threat has gone down. Pineville, Walnut Hill in northern Escambia County, Florida, also dealing with heavy wind, but it does not look like we're dealing with any rotation signatures.
Yep.
Escambia County, Alabama, watching there, but wind, and then continuing up into Monroe, Conecuh County. Of course, we have severe wind that's still ongoing.
And Nicholas, how long does this warning go? The one that's in the one that was over Robertsdale, that tornado warning there?
That is continuing until 5:15 a.m.
So that one goes for the next 20 minutes unless the Weather Service deems it necessary to cancel. So we're going to stay on the air until we get a word from the Weather Service that they're either dropping that or they're going to stick with it. And if they drop it or early, we will go and get ready for the 5 o'clock hour of Good Day Gulf Coast. If not, we're just going to continue to monitor and stick with this. So what you're looking at now is our DOT camera right over the Bayway. That is at exit 30. That is where you have the exit to the causeway. Now, the causeway has been closed since last night because of coastal flooding, because of the extreme south wind combined with high tide. Now, the good news is this morning the tide's falling. So you're going to see the waters recede. And on the back edge of this line of storms, north winds. So actually, that means over the Mobile Bay, north winds have finally started to return. That's going to help recede the waters. So I think at some point this morning, while we're on the air, we will likely see the causeway reopen. When that'll happen, not sure, but I would definitely guess that we will see that begin to happen at some point this morning, maybe the 6 a.m. hour, 7 a.m. hour at the latest. But now that north winds are taking back over, and now that the tide is falling, I think that's going to significantly help improve conditions on the causeway. So if you're on the eastern shore of Baldwin County, your severe weather threat is over. If you're west of I-65, Mobile County or Mississippi counties, Washington County, Clark County, all of the danger for you is done as far as a severe weather threat, and your temperatures have begun to steadily decrease, which is good news. But those of you in eastern Baldwin County, the Florida Panhandle, your tornado threat continues a little while longer. You've got the heaviest rain and the most frequent lightning. That is also showing up as well. And the reason why we've been on the air is because we have seen numerous tornado warnings over the last couple of hours. By 3 o'clock in the morning, we started seeing these things firing off quickly across Mobile County. We had 3 in the county at one point. We had 3 in Baldwin County at one point. Now we've only got 1 active warning, and that's located around parts of Robertsdale with this little red polygon box. You're seeing a lot of lightning popping right now for locations south of Interstate 10 in Baldwin County. That is where the most intense storm area is taking place. What you're looking at now is Orange Beach. Orange Beach, in a matter of minutes, is going to be getting the brunt of these storms. So they're approaching Gulf Shores. So in about 10 minutes, they'll be right over Orange Beach. Now the camera's pointed west. It's pointed toward the storms, and you can see the intense flashes of lightning that are showing up. So there's no tornado threat in the southern end of the county, but the wicked storms are on the way.
Yes, and I do want to, as we still have this stuff ongoing, we do still have the tornado warning ongoing. We're watching that very, very closely. Once again, if you're in Baldwin County, make sure you're staying sheltered because we do have possible spin-up tornadoes. The storm is moving through Baldwin County right now. We're starting to get a lot more questions about schools as we approach 5 a.m. and I'm thinking if we could actually, at some point, Sarah, if you could read off those school information that you have as of recently. We'll prepare to do that very soon because
the Baldwin County is starting on time today, but we also know that the bus routes will be delayed by 1 hour to give the line more time to roll through. So if you are
Sarah, make sure
if you are in Baldwin County, the school is expected to start on time, but bus routes are going to be delayed by an hour, giving the roads some time to clear out a little bit. And we have the updates we had yesterday morning about what's happening in our Florida schools, where I'm going to pull that up really quick. But we do have some schools that we know are closed for today as well in Florida. So we're looking at Escambia County, Florida public schools are closed today. Also, we have Okaloosa County public schools are closed today, and Conecuh County schools also will be closed today as well. So that's the information we have on those. Mobile County Public Schools, we've been talking to some of the bus drivers. They are running on schedule as of right now. Okay. If we hear anything about that, we will let you know. But as of right now, things moving on schedule, except in Baldwin County with the bus routes delayed and those areas that are closed for today. Again, Okaloosa County schools, Conecuh County schools, and Escambia County, Florida public schools all closed for today. That's the information we have so far. We're of course continuing to get that.
And we do have a full list of school closings on fox10tv.com. I just wanted to mention that because we got a lot of questions about that on the stream. We do need to return, though. We do still have this tornado warning ongoing.
That's right. So, and Sarah, thank you for the information. And we'll be getting you to Good Day Gulf Coast in mere moments, but the only reason we're still doing the severe weather coverage is because of the tornado warning that is set to expire in 15 minutes. You have a very weak, and I do mean pretty weak signature. I would say that's maybe it. Located around parts of Interstate 10. This would be, zoom out a little bit, Nicholas, let me see where we are here. So this is the Baldwin Beach Express. So this would be east of exit 49. So this would be between exit 49 and 53, between the Baldwin Beach Express and between Wilcox Road. So you can see how far east that tornado threat is already shifted, and it looks like it's going to be passing over parts of Interstate 10. So exit 49 is near the Buc-ee's, but this is past that. This is farther east than that, and this is over near Wilcox Road, which would put it over near the that big fireworks store, and that's going to keep marching its way eastward at about 40 miles per hour. That's how quickly these possible tornadic signatures have been moving. But it's definitely a lot weaker because that's the same storm cell we were tracking over Fairhope earlier this morning, and now it is basically a shell of itself compared to how it looked earlier, but you can still see very widespread heavy rain, a swath of it, covering a good chunk of Baldwin County, specifically the eastern and the central portion of the county. Here's Bay Minette, here's Atmore in Escambia County, Alabama, Foley, Gulf Shores, a lot of lightning, very heavy rain. Now, the good news is you heard Sarah talking about with the schools. Mobile County is going to start on time. Mobile County, you're already out of danger. Baldwin County, all of the eastern shore, you're already out of danger. Point Clear, Fairhope, Daphne, Spanish Fort, Malbus, your threat is done. State Highway 225, your threat's done. Bay Minette, it's over. The I-65 corridor near Stockton, your threat is over. Anyone near Bicentennial Park, it's done. So the western edge of Baldwin County is no longer in any sort of severe weather danger. And by the time the bus routes need to get going in Baldwin County, this line of storms should already be east of Orange Beach. So that means things are going to be definitely calming down as the morning progresses. Now, are we going to go totally dry? No. We'll still have a few more showers to deal with this morning, but it's just going to be light to moderate rain. The temperatures are going to fall. In fact, Nicholas, what's the current, and the Weather Service has canceled the warning. Before we go to a regular Good Day Gulf Coast, Nick, can you tell me what the temperature now is in Mobile with the top of the hour?
Yes. So as we're getting the latest information in here, The temperature
53.
has dropped to an incredible 53 degrees. What a roller coaster ride of temperatures. Anywhere that you see those 70s that Michael is pointing out there, that is still where we have that severe weather threat. Let's check in on the winds real quick as well before we go to Good Day Gulf Coast here. Notice the winds have also calmed down a little bit in
and there's
some
that
areas.
north wind. Yep.
And the shift of wind now of the northwest there. The wind gusts, okay, there they are.
Yeah, we've still got those booking a trip. 44 miles an hour in Pensacola. You've still got breezy winds in the north wind sector, but it's nothing like what we've dealt with in the south wind sector. So the good news is things are changing. The tornado threat over for now. If a new one pops in, Nick and I will break into programming and we'll talk more about it. But for now, the storm threat is shifting over toward the Florida Panhandle. We're going to see calmer weather, thank goodness, the rest of the morning. And we'll begin Good Day Gulf Coast. I'll ask the producers, do we go now to the desk? Do we go to break? What is the scheduled plan? We are going straight to the desk. Okay, so here are your news headlines right now with Eric and Sarah. Good morning, guys.
Good morning indeed, and of course the news headlines have been exactly what you've been working on the last several hours, talking about the weather this morning and the severe weather passing through our area. And as they both mentioned, Michael and Nicholas, we do have our crews out checking the area for damage. We understand that there are a number of trees and tree limbs down.